Hello, I'm David. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and share. So we will be dealing with a vector problem, and it read the following figure shows a triangle OAB in which M divides AB in the ratio 1:4 and N divides OB in the ratio 1:1. This is our diagram. So they say if OA, vector OA is equivalent to A, vector OB is equivalent to B, vector OX is equivalent to H vector OM, and vector AX is equivalent to K vector AN, express OX in terms of A, B, and H. Then vector OX in terms of A, B, vectors A, B, and K. Now let's interpret our diagram. They say vector OA is A. You see direction headed towards A. Then vector OB is vector B. It's here. Now they say OX, vector OX is HOM. OX is H. So this is H. Now if OX is H, then from X to M, which is XM, is 1 minus H. Now, because if I add H plus 1 minus H, I get 1. The same case, vector AX is equivalent to K vector AN. If A to X here is K, then it means X to N will be 1 minus K. Like when you add your ratios, they should give you 1. Like that, K plus 1 minus K is equivalent to 1. Now, to express vector OX in terms of A, vectors A, B, and constant H, this is what we'll do. Now, vector OX is equivalent to H multiplied by vector OM, which is H into. Now, see what we are going to do. Now, you see, looking at vector OM, now we take this one here, over total, which is 5, I multiply by the opposite vector. Like this, I look at line OM, so this one between A and M, 1 over total of 5, I multiply by opposite vector, which is vector B. That's why I have 1 over 5 vector B, plus, now if I take 4 over total, which is 5, I multiply by opposite vector, which is vector A, which is 4 over 5 vector A. If you open bracket, you get it is 4 over 5 H vector A and 1 over 5 H vector B. That is vector OX in terms of vector A, vector B, and constant H. I will repeat, I said vector OX is H vector OM. These are vector OM, so we consider this line. So to get vector OM, if we take this 1 over total, which is 5, you multiply by the opposite vector, which is vector B. So that's why H into 1 over 5 vector B. Then plus, if I take 4 from M to B over total 5, I multiply by the opposite vector, which is A. So you find is 4 over 5 vector A. If I open bracket, I get 4 over 5 H vector A plus 1 over 5 H vector B. Now we go to vector OX in terms of vector A, vector B, and constant K. Now, vector OX is equivalent to, now, see what you want to do. Vector OX will be equivalent to, like vector is like you are walking. OX will be equivalent to vector OA. You move from here, equivalent to vector OA, then vector AX. So it will be vector OX equivalent to vector OA plus vector AX. Remember, vector AX is simply K multiplied by vector AN, which is equivalent to vector OA it is vector A plus K. Now, to get vector K vector AN, vector AN here, it means you move from A to N. So it will be from here, it will be negative vector A because we're changing the direction, negative vector A plus a half vector B because N is dividing OB into ratio 1 to 1, which means N is the midpoint. So I repeat, vector OX will be equivalent to vector OA plus K vector AN. Vector OA is a vector positive A plus K vector AN is minus vector A plus a half vector B. So when you simplify, you collect like terms so that you have 1 minus K, all that vector A plus a half K vector B. Now determine the values of H and K. Now to determine the values of H and K, you equate the two different forms of vector OX because vector OX is just vector OX that is equal. What do I mean? I mean, I take vector OX in terms of A, B, and H. I equate it to vector OX in terms of A, B, and K. From there now, you equate the coefficient. Like in the, like here, the coefficient of vector A is 4 over 5H. I equate to coefficient of vector A in this other case, which is 1 minus K. I get equation 1. Then the coefficient of vector B is 1 over 5H, which is equivalent to coefficient of vector B in this, which is a half K, equation 2. So from there, we solve this equation. When we solve, we find like we can make K the subject from equation 1 so that we have K is 1 minus 4 over 5H. Just K comes here, K comes here, 4 over 5H comes here. So K will become positive, 4 over 4H will become negative. This is what we got. Now, using equation 2, I substitute where there is K, I put there 1 minus 4 over 5H. That is what I've done here. So now when you solve, you get H is 5 over 6. But we said that our K is equivalent to 1 minus 4 over 5H. So I replace and get my K is 1 over 3. My K is a third. So they said substitute the values of H and K in vectors OX. So OX, in first case, we found like a vector OX was equal to what? 4 over 5H vector A and 1 over 5H vector B. So 4 over 5, H is 5 over 6 vector A plus 1 over 5 H vector B. H is 5 over 6. You get 2 over 3 vector A plus 1 over 6 vector B. Now, the other case, we found like OX is equivalent to 1 minus K vector A plus a half K vector B, which means 1 minus K is a third, which means it will be 2 over 3 vector A plus a half K vector B. A half times K is 1 over 3, which means 1 over 6 vector B. So you find the two are the same. Thank you very much. Subscribe and like.